Hey, Anna McHugh here, reporting in on the mushroom scene in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm hanging out with one of my favorite summer mushrooms. Behold, Aureoboletus betula. I really enjoy finding this mushroom. It is a nice culinary experience. It's kind of got a lemony, citrusy thing going on and a really nice texture. And the common name for this is the shaggy-stalked bolete. This is one of our easiest bolete mushrooms to identify. I think you can almost immediately see why it's called the shaggy-stalked bolete, because it has these very distinctive, sort of a pinky color underneath, but then this sort of flamboyant, flaring shagginess all over the stem. And so additionally, the stem is a little bit on the slimy side. You have a tall cap and stem mushroom is another really distinctive trait of this. So a lot of bolete type mushrooms with, a sponge underneath are squat or tall, or they have really big caps, or at least a cap that reasonably is, in proportion to the stem. In the case of this mushroom, you almost always have, a very tall mushroom with a fairly small cap. So, besides the shagginess, the tallness, you have additionally a really big butt of mycelium. So anytime you pick this mushroom, you'll usually get a lot of white, very fuzzy, very happy mycelium at the base of them. Additionally, as far as the cap color goes, it is a little bit on the variable side. So you usually have this sort of pleasant, sort of gala apple color, but it does vary to yellow, especially in age. You'll see the beginning of that yellow starting to come in on the top of the cap here. Another thing that you can see really well on this species is it has a very distinctive rim of sort of this golden yellow around the edge. This is also how I remember the Latin name for this mushroom, Aureoboletus betula. So aura is gold and refers to golden colors. And so mushrooms in this genus often have, golden coloration. And in the case of this particular mushroom, this rim is, something that I look out for. Additionally, you have, a lemony yellow undersurface that is porous. It doesn't stain or anything like that when you mess around with it. You oftentimes have a really distinctive separation between this shaggy stem and the cap. So as far as where to find Aureoboletus betula, the answer is with beech trees. And so betula actually is the Latin for beech. So, this is basically the Aureoboletus that grows with beech trees. If you're not familiar with beech, they're basically a gray tree that is smooth barked. So it's kind of occasionally looks a little elephantine, especially when they're older trees. They have a simple leaf, and so, it's just one of these little deals, and it's kind of papery and thin. So if you're, in a grove of those trees, it's a really good idea to look around for these particular mushrooms. As far as getting them home and enjoying them from a culinary perspective, I have a couple of recommendations in that respect. First of all, as with a lot of mushrooms, but especially mushrooms that have a little bit of stickiness to them, you get all kinds of dirt and grit that starts to get ground into the shagginess, especially if you're like me and you just handle your mushrooms like crazy and you get very excited about them. So what I do is I just basically shave off the scabers or the shagginess, and that's really easy to do. It's just gently, like you're doing a delicate mushroom carrot, essentially. So you can shave that off. That makes it a little bit easier to handle and a little bit, less prone to be dirty, etc. Also, those, shaggies, they're not particularly tasty. They don't really bring anything to the table, so to speak. So in addition to, shaving them off, I will also usually remove the sponge underneath the cap. The sponge, you can eat it. It's just, again, like the shagginess. It is a little bit on the wetter side and a little bit less firm and mushroomy than I would like. So usually when I collect this mushroom, I'm in a beech grove. I strip it down like this. And, they're, again, a little bit sticky, so I oftentimes keep them separate from other mushrooms that are not sticky. But the long and short of it is, this is, I think, one of the most delightful edible mushrooms that you can learn to identify with confidence in just a couple of weeks. Now, I am a big advocate of identifying the same mushroom a few times before you ever eat it. And it's just a confidence thing, it's a comfort thing, and a safety thing, of course. But, you know, that being said, you can collect this once or twice and you're never going to mistake anything else for this. So Aureoboletus betula, the shaggy-stalked bolete, living with beach, and then it's going to go home with me and become food.